Hello, my Stampin' friends. Hope you're all doing well tonight. Hopefully this works a little bit better and you can actually hear me tonight. Hang on. I think I figured out what was wrong, and that's because my speaker is actually on my second camera or my microphone. And so I accidentally turned that one off, which turned my sound off last week. So I do apologize for that. Hopefully, we don't have any issues today, but I am super excited to share with you today. So, if you don't know already, my name is Candace Anderson. I'm coming to you live from Hiram, Utah. Um, Little bit about me, if you don't already know, I've been a demonstrator with Stampin' Up! For almost 20 years now, and I love sharing crafting. Whether it's making cards, making 3D projects, scrapbooking. I've been getting a lot more into scrapbooking again. What I started with kind of phased out for a little while, and been getting back into it. So I am excited about that. If you're not aware, I've started a new scrapbooking group. I don't know what you want to call it. Um, some friends. We're calling it Scrapped, and each week, a different one of us is sharing scrapbooking ideas. We are going to start a Facebook group, so watch for that you can join in on that as well and share your ideas and thoughts and stuff. And we'll be able to share the videos there. But you can follow along each week. This week it's my turn finally. So watch for that video on Thursday. I'll be sharing my scrapbooking tips and the project that I'm making. Hopefully, you've enjoyed everybody else's. But because of that, I actually have a really fun project I want to share with you today. I don't know how many of you have heard of a squash book. This is something I used to make years ago. I used to make them all the time and kind of forgot about it. And the other day, my kids were looking through my scrapbooks for something, and they pulled one of these out. And I'm going to share that one with you in a second. And then I'll show you how easy it is to make this. And of course, we're using an last chance stamp set and dies for it, as well as paper. So we've got a little bit of a bunch of stuff going on in there. So I am going to hopefully switch this here, and I'm going to turn the chat on. Maybe. Uh, oh, that's not what I wanted. Sorry. Okay, yes, I think the chat is working. So you can see what I have. So I'm going to show you. This is a squash book. And this one's not very fancy on the front. I was thinking I probably should have done something more. But this is the one my kids pulled out. And I made this a long time ago. It's 2006, but it was actually the my first trip to Hawaii with my husband and brother and his wife. And this is just, it's a fun little book that just opens and squashes. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to make this book. And we are going to be using the Friends for Life stamp set and dies. These are just so cute. I am honestly so sad that this is on the last chance list. You've seen me use this, especially this heart. I have used it on quite a few different things. Fun shaker cards. I'm gonna grab. I think it's right here. Um, This is the shaker card that I actually made when I went to on my Alaskan cruise, using this die with things, and I made a Christmas one too. But anyway, yes, I love this stamp set. I'm going to have a really hard time. It's probably not leaving my stash, but I'll be sad not to be able to share it with you anymore. But I thought this was the perfect stamp set to make a squash book with. And I actually, what I designed was for my daughter and her best friend. They've been friends forever. Um, since like first or second grade. They're actually in the same preschool, but they didn't know it till a little bit older. And I don't have any pictures on it because they are only 13. So I didn't want to share pictures, but I've got hundreds and hundreds of pictures of her. So what you're going to do is you're going to take three pieces of 8x8 cardstock. And I've already got two of them scored for you, but I'm going to pull this out here. Actually, don't need that out. So we're just going to slide it in here, and we're going to do it at the 4 inches. This is my cutting blade. Make sure that you have your scoring blade, not your cutting blade. We're just going to score it at the 4. Then we're going to turn it, and we're going to score it at the 4 again. And then we're going to turn it, and we're going to line the edge up. So we're going to line up right here and right here. We're going to line those two right up on the line here, and we're going to score it. And we're only going to do that diagonal once. And then we will grab our bone folder, and we're going to go in and in, and then we're going to flip it and go the opposite direction on the diagonal. And we're going to do that for all 3 of them here. So we'll fold it in. Again, like I said, this is super, super simple, easy to make. I used to make them all the time as like gifts for Mother's Day or for a birthday, just anytime you want to share some fun pictures that are easy. Great for like a new baby, anything like that. So we're going to switch. Go that. So now we've got our 3 pieces here. And if you were to bend them, they kind of all go like this. So I'm going to flip one of them the opposite direction so that it will be the opposite of the other 2, and put it in the middle. And then I'm going to add some glue on this one here. And just line it up. You want to make sure that you're within that fold, because it will not fold correctly if you're over it. In fact, if anything, it's better to be a little off away from the fold than it is to go over the fold, because it won't work. It will not fold. It won't squash. And then we're going to put that one there. And then essentially these 2 squash, squash, and you have your book. Now we're just going to go and decorate it. So I've already pre-done a few different elements for this. We're going to move this out of the way. So one of the ones I did is this little one here. So you could cut the heart out to cut that out, but instead I have cut it out on this 3 3/4. So these end up 4 by 4. So this is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And I have also cut out one of these hearts, and it's attached here, but I cut this out here. So I am going to add a little bit of glue to the back of this, maybe if my glue wants to come out for me. It's running out. I'm gonna have to get another one. This is like one of my favorite glues. So just add a little bit here and here. And I could have had this pre-done, but I kind of wanted you to see how I was doing it here. And then we're just going to line that up, press it down, move that out of the way. Then I'm going to flip it to this side. So now I have that color through. Now, technically, I do have the same color here, and that may have worked okay. But the tricky part is we're going to be cutting this. And so that's why I chose to do this here. Plus, I'm going to add this to the front side of it. I love how it does this little thin heart. In most cases, I've actually offset it on most things I have done, but this particular one, we're going to frame it. So just gonna add a little bit of glue. I know this one would be kind of nice to have the sticky on the back, but since it cuts the big heart as well, I'm just using glue on it. So we're going to put that across to there. Now we want to grab this because this is going to go right here. Which direction? We'll go this way with it. So it's going on one of these ones that are diagonal, and I wanted to make sure that I show you how this is done. So they are cut at the 3 3/4, and this is just some of the paper. So this all comes in a suite, and this is the Full of Life paper. It has all kinds of fun colors, so you could really make this in a lot of fun colors. But we're going to grab our cutting thing again, and this time we're still lining it up on the angle here, but this time we're going to actually cut it, and it stays at that 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and it will work perfectly. So here we're going to do the same thing. We're going to line that up, and I'm going to press really hard. So now I've just cut it in two. And then I can finish my elements here. So on this front one, I'm going to grab my pool party. And oh, nope, I didn't pre-do this one. So on this one, I have cut out the word friend. And I love how this one layers. There is a stamp as well, but I love how this layers. So I've got the back one. This one I did use the sticky to cut it out. I have tried gluing this. You can do it. It's just not as easy. The sticky is just way, way faster. So we're just going to place it on here. And I just love this framed look. And the sticky, it sticks really nice, but it also has a little bit of give. So if you have to shift a little, you can. And then that's why I still had the die here, because I did not want to lose the little dot on here. Get that off. Little top to the eye. Oh, and it's trying to run away on me. Try and line it up. There we go. And press it down. So one thing I wanted to show you on this, so we're going to do best friend. And what I did learn is it's easier to take this and kind of figure out where I want it so that I can stamp that best here. And then we're going to move this away, and we're going to grab some pretty in pink here. Actually, we're going to leave this here for a second. And we're going to add some little hearts. And the one other thing we're going to do, so there's this really long piece in here. So what I did is I only cut part of it. And I'm going to grab my Berry Burst. And I have the Love You that I'm going to stamp here. And I've got some ink on there, but it should be okay. And I'm going to stamp the Love You on here. But you'll see this is like a sharp edge. So what I did, because I didn't do the whole length of it, I cut out just a little bit of the length. And because it has this cool edge, I didn't want to place the die back on it because I didn't want it to mess up the edge. So instead, I've just cut out a little bit here. And then I'm just going to use my scissors to give it kind of that rounded edge to match. So I got the same idea, just in a shorter one, and I just realized I stamped this one wrong. That's okay, it'll still work. On my other one, I had it at an angle, but that's okay. It will still work on here. So on this one here, I'm just going to do the love you across here. I'm going to stick it right there. So now we have our elements. One last thing that I'm going to do on this one, I'm going to grab, because I don't want to get ink all over the place that I have to clean up, I'm going to grab this and I'm just going to add some around the edge. I really love the blending brushes. I love the subtle look. You can add, so we're going to add this real quick to finish it off. Move all this stuff out of the way. So when you're cutting your pictures to go on this, oh, I guess we need to glue this on here. When you're cutting your pictures, you want to make sure you're cutting them at 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. But the biggest thing to keep in mind is some of your pictures, if you want to really utilize and have a lot of pictures on here, you're going to be cutting them in half, just like we did this one. And it will work nicely. You'll get a nice edge all the way around when you go to put this on. And you can add more decorative, just depends. You could make it all pictures. I like to add a little bit of extra stamping, just some fun stuff into it. Just makes kind of fun. And then we're going to add this one here. Completely up to you. You could stamp. You can use a designer paper that matches. You can just have a lot of fun with these. It makes really great Mother's Day gifts or Father's Day gifts. You can put pictures of the grandkids in there for them. But we have this cute one, and then the rest of it I will fill up with pictures of my daughter and her friend. And then we're going to close this off here, and we're going to grab our ribbon here, maybe. And we want a nice long piece, because we're going to wrap it around and get a little bit longer. Cut that off. And we're just going to tie a little bow here. So this is how it will stay closed. And you want that bow, usually depends on how you decorate the front of this. You could do a smaller piece on the front here, but I like to do it so that the bow is basically kind of right there on the end. I am going to grab a piece of tear and tape and just attach that ribbon to the front. You can decorate the back if you want to. You could even make it a double squash book if you really wanted to. Put pictures on both sides. Fill it in so it has lots of pictures. Just depends on what you want to do. But I'm going to put some tear and tape there. And then I am going to use some dimensionals. Maybe. Guess we're opening a new pack. And I'm going to pop this off just a little bit with the dimensionals here. And we will place the best friends on the front. Move the ribbon out of the way. And we can finish it off with a few little embellishments. So I did do a couple little extras. I have some additional pieces here Oh, I want to add this one. Where is my mini glue dots? So this has some little hearts, these little hearts that you can do. It also has this, it has a lot of extra things that you could add onto there. So I've stamped and cut out some extra embellishments. This is from the designer paper as well. And so after I put the pictures in here, I can add some additional little embellishments to the pictures, depending on the pictures. Again, like I said, remember, this is the other one. So this is it showing it at a diagonal, and you would do it here. I did a different designer paper inside there, but you can add these little extra pieces on here once you get the picture. But yeah, keep in mind that your pictures could be cut in half. So you want to make sure that whatever pictures you do there, that it works. I look very young in these pictures. My husband probably doesn't look a whole lot different, but just keep that in mind when you're deciding which pictures you want to put on there. I do have one other thing to share with you really quick. So I had made some elements that didn't really go the way I wanted to when I was making this. And so I decided to do a scrapbook page. So this is the first page here. Same front that I have here. That I've added a few extra embellishments, used some of the paper and the little love you, same thing. And I'm just going to go in and add the photos there. This one is white so that I can do a little bit of writing about her and her friend. And then this one, I don't always do just a single picture, but I know I have a bunch of really cute pictures that I could do a single picture of the two of them. Again, I've used some of that designer paper, cut out the great big leaves, and added some more of those hearts and stamping. So I have a fun scrapbook page that I can put with my daughter and her friend. So hopefully you, we're going to see if it works to switch back here. Doesn't want to switch. There we go. That works. Still learning this program, but hopefully you enjoyed that. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that you could hear me the whole time. Didn't see anybody pop any messages in that you couldn't hear, but I'd love to see what you come up with the squash books, and make some for yourself. They're just really fun to make, so easy to make. Again, you could make them different sizes, but that 8x8 works really well. So enjoy that. Remember to join me next Monday. I will be back live again at 7:30. And this Thursday, watch for my post for my scrapbooking for our scraps, and watch for some more information. I did have one other fun thing to share, and since this camera is still on, you can see it. I shared this card last week with you, just when I was doing my other cards. I created this for the global Stampin' Challenge, and I got a fun little tag yesterday, and I just had to share because I was super excited. But I actually won. This was, I cased the designer, and this was my design casing the other very talented designer, and it was really fun to be picked. So yeah, I was super excited. So thanks for everybody for that. I was very excited. I love it. It was a really fun card. I don't know if you can see the sparkle. There you go. You can kind of see the sparkle on that card. That's done with the Wink of Stella, but fun card. Maybe I'll make a video of it so you guys can see how I made it. So anyway, thanks again for joining me. I hope you have a stamptastic night, and we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.